Good morning, this is Pixie doing another video. Like I'm having an earthquake. This is a bit freestanding the stand for my phone. Weather's great, no issues here in the UK at the moment. However, I was looking at some things yesterday and some conclusions come to my mind that countries won't be picking wars with each other. It'll be more about the culling of the people and restructuring their societies. I really think actually at the upper side, top of the chain, they're all connected anyway. So if there is this Illuminati, they're involved with Russia, involved with China, they're involved with the UK, they're a part of the Crown. You know, this is not limited. And the reason I think this is because the same model exists around the whole world. I mean, the Chinese have got the same structural hierarchy system. I mean, yes, there's the communist states, but it's just really a wordplay. They still operate, the inner state still operates the same way, and they've learnt to benefit from what other states do, like forms of capitalism are used as a way to reward people for their compliance with the state. And I guess it's the same here really in the UK. It's just a different system. Like you'll get welfare and benefits, but you have to qualify for these things. And then there's the expectation of you have to work as well, which is probably quite normal across the board. So the other concern is that I was watching something, I was talking about ultrasonic nuclear missiles, how Russia, you know, is potentially gearing up against China, and I thought, what a load of rubbish. And I saw this thing on one of these news programs and realised there's a lot of propaganda wars. And you know, I like fresh news, I like to see different perspectives, but I don't like to be told what people are thinking. They said, Putin's doing this, Putin's thinking this. Is he? How could you, without actually having a conversation? He could be preparing for potential backlash of any war, if there was anything like that. And also with the changing world we live in, and climate change, there's probably going to be more ocean and more sea. So it's interesting that there was subs with nuclear weapons. And the thing is, with a nuclear weapon, it doesn't kill the enemy, it kills the people of the enemy. It's an area effect type weapon, and the radiation afterwards could kill the next so many generations are going to suffer as a result. So it's not an insurgent weapon, it's not a deterrent. It scares people. It doesn't scare the government. It doesn't scare people with underground bunkers and resources. They just stay down there. They're going to find an area in the country where they can go. So they just don't care about that side of things. And I mean, if Chernobyl, say, was an experiment, it shows that if it leaks loads of radiation, nature still carries on. And so if you wanted this beauty spot, you could still see nature. I mean, you might not hang around with it, but it would clear the way from people. There's people that suffer from radiation poisoning and stuff like that, and their children. So the other model is, I mean, China at the moment are flooding, and they're flooding the poor. That's what's happening with the suffering there. It looks like potentially some HARP, because they've just had loads and loads of rain and strange weather, like snow in the summer and lightning bolts in Shanghai, and you know, just constant rain. So there may be some friction in the Illuminati structure between there's players and there's people that probably act like overlords or pretend to be like the game master and actually play out how the scenario works. But it's only going to be the people that are going to suffer. It's not going to be government that suffer. Within each country, there's an inner government. There's a government within government, and they deal with the corporation stuff. They deal with how they communicate with each other. They, calculate a threat and loss, and it's not a big deal to them because they look at maybe a different type of picture, it's probably modelled by computers. What's the outcome of this? Can we model people to be more afraid or conforming, like the thing with the NHS and clapping and the pushing of rainbows everywhere? I mean, I love rainbows, there's no issue there, but it doesn't represent anything to do with the NHS. It's like a cult symbology now of diversity, and you probably, in the future, people will be dropping bombs with rainbows on it and smiley faces. Clap, here comes the here comes the dada, or something like that. Here comes Big Daddy, and it'll be a giant bomb. So we've got the virus. There's all this isolation stuff, and the economy collapse, turning people against each other. There's the Black Lives Matter. So basically, the idea maybe people kill themselves off in America. Here, they pick fights with corporations as well, probably, and then you've got these, like I say, extreme weather conditions. Potentially, something might kick off into a war somewhere. And then what happens, the aftermath is that basically they've cleared space, they've got rid of people, and then rebuild a different infrastructure there. And so these poor people in China, and that's right, because they're the ones that most likely be resistant to the system because they least benefit from it. And while the poor here are more compliant because they actually benefit the most from it in the UK because of the benefit structure. They get property and so on. They don't have to work because they might claim mental health or some other reasons. For some reason they can't work. So they're protected. But then the working class see that and they think, well, they're protected, but they have to live in a very basic environment, and they won't get the benefits of retirement. The bus will let me go. That's nice of him. But there's solutions as well. Solutions to problems. So at the moment you just need to get yourself into the survival mode, grow your own food, find ways to peacefully resolve things, start working with your neighbourhood. But then again, some people are always really antisocial elements. I've got a neighbour that puts me off making friends in where I live because he's always out for himself. You start chatting and he says, "Oh, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me?" Almost. It's like, well, aren't you a grown man and can't you just do your own stuff? If you want bloody films and DVDs, buy them. I don't want to bloody copy them off the internet. Get myself arrested or something and put in a cell with somebody with corona. And I wonder about the people who are asymptomatic, if they're actually really threats. I don't think they are. I think they've developed herd immunity, so they should mix more and then just isolate people that are vulnerable. That's probably the new model I would see, rather than all this lockdown, because this isn't called economic collapse and a bloody upsurge of violence. That's what will happen. Right, this is Big C, signing off this video. Have a great one, bye.